Hello, beautiful goddess. So, what does it mean to really catch that wave of your own inner light, your soul's calling, um, and just really super tap into your greatest gifts so that you can share those with the world? What's it going to take for you to, stop living that life, dealing with it, putting up with that life that you really actually don't love, and totally step into your amazing gifts, share those with the world, be able to receive, great compensation for doing your spiritual work. A lot of people have this judgment about spiritual work that you're not actually supposed to charge for it, that it's supposed to be free. But and that's fine for some people if they want to, do that. But it's work. I have to tell you the truth. Like the work that I do, it is work. It's hard work. And I know lots and lots of healers who end up totally drained, like chronic illness, and it's because they just give and give and give without having that balance of receiving. And so anyway, here we are at the turning of the moon. So I really love these sort of transition days. Like yesterday was the pinnacle of the new moon. And for me, what that meant is that I was a bit out of sorts. I was a bit unsettled, and excuse me. And so I channeled some of that energy, some of that like angsty kind of like energy into detailing the inside of my car. Yep, that's what I did. I detailed the inside of my car yesterday. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you know what? That was the highest and best use of my day because I had all this unsettled energy. I really wasn't good for much else. So detailing the inside of my car was a much better choice than just laying around being upset. I channeled that energy. So, that's part of what I really want to talk to you about right now is that when you are feeling out of sorts, sometimes the best choice is to lay in bed and watch Netflix. Sometimes that's the best choice. And I do not have any judgment about that. I sometimes that is my best choice. Sometimes the best choice is to download all of your genius ideas and inspirations into, like massive documents on, Google Docs, right? Sometimes that is the best. I've been doing that this morning, actually. I've been downloading my genius into a Google Doc, and into like this really super beautiful document that I'm creating in Canva right now. And I'm super excited about it. I'm totally revamping my offers because what I've discovered is that um, the kinds of women that I'm really attracting right now are the ones who are already light workers. You already know that you have gifts to share with the world. There's just a bit of a disconnect between knowing that you have gifts to share with the world and being able to actually successfully um, get clients and get repeat clients and get paid what you're worth and be valued for your gifts and get tips and and that is something that I have a lot of experience in. And I've been doing this for enough years that I've had all these different sort of growth periods in my business and in my skill set. And, one of those giant growth periods was realizing that I really wanted to pursue being a psychic. And that was, when I was like 20. And by the time I was 22, I was like, all right, that didn't work out. That must not be my life path. And then fast forward a bunch of years later, maybe 10, I think I was in my mid 30s or something like that. And and I took a Reiki class and I just fell in love. I couldn't believe how amazing and fun it was. And that, so I totally dove into that for a few years, and then that crashed and burned, and I was like, oh, back to square one again. So, I had a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome. And by the time I finally got that giant energy cord released and fully stepped into this career, um, this beautiful connection with my soul purpose and being able to share that with the world, by the time I finally stepped into that, oh boy, was I ready. I was super, super ready. So really that is what I bring to the table for helping. I mean, I can see I have really clear clairvoyant skills. I use the Akashic records to see past life stuff, to see potential future, to see the potential in the person that I'm working with. And I can see all the different colors in your aura. I can see if there are ancestral blockages blocking your light, your success path, your ability to connect or to hold, you know, financial success, financial prosperity, and things about value. We can heal all that stuff. The past life experiences that may have shut down your clarity, your third eye clarity, may have shut down your full access to your knowing. If you like have, okay, so this is what happened to me. I knew that I had psychic abilities, but I didn't have a consistent way to access them. It was hit and miss. Like sometimes I would have these incredibly clear moments, and other times I'd be trying, but I felt blocked. I couldn't access it. And so, one of the things that really worked for me was learning a pathway that was able to get me to that consistent opening and closing. That was one of the big things that I needed. I needed to have a way to close it down. And I think that there was a fear in there that if I was open all the time, that, bad things would happen. It would be totally overwhelming. And so my sense is that that is what kept my intuitive clarity closed down. But by learning to read the Akashic records, I learned how to, like intentionally open the records and intentionally close the records at the end of the session. And because of that intentional opening and intentional closing, it gave me that sense of safety. I felt protected. And also before that, I'd had all kinds of Reiki training that really focused in on staying, having the energy clean, and all of the ethics really, and the protocols, like really super dialed in. So I already had that as a foundation. And so adding the Akashic records onto that, and then also doing the medical intuitive work, and being able to see where energy is trapped or stuck or aligned, or just needing to be released in the body, and where that correlates to illness in the body too. So all of those skill sets all together created my pathway to feeling worthy of sharing my gifts. And I know some women just keep taking more and more classes, keep gaining more and more skills and more certificates. And really, what that is a feeling of unworthiness. That if you need to have more and more certificates in order to feel worthy of sharing your gifts, like really check that out. If that feels like you keep going to more and more classes, but you haven't launched your business yet, there's something going on there in the worthiness department. And really have a good sit down with yourself about that and get super honest with yourself about whether or not that feels right to you. Um, and if that is what it is, maybe there are some other things going on there too. Maybe there are also, like energy cord attachments or past life agreements that you've made, or soul contracts, or, ancestral trauma of some sort, or maybe you were burned at the stake or accused of witchcraft, or maybe you watched your family members tortured in some way. Um, I met the psychic one time who was like, "Oh my God, you were my daughter, and I was being punished and the way that they punished me is they put you and my two other children into the Colosseum and sent a lion in to eat you." I was like, as soon as she started saying that, like all the whole world disappeared, and all I could see, like she was so right, and I felt what it felt like to be tied, and I could see what we were tied to. We were tied to these logs, like in the center. These logs were like A-frame, and there were three of them. There were three kids, and I think I was the middle kid, or I might have been the oldest. I'm not really sure, but I could feel myself tied to there. And I could see the lion coming, and my siblings were screaming and they were so scared. And what I said to that psychic was, it wasn't nearly as bad for us as it was for you. Because for her, that was like insanely traumatic to watch your children being eaten by a lion. Oh my gosh. Kind of the worst torture a person could have. Um, and I said, it really didn't hurt as bad as you might have thought. I mean, because there's this thing that happens with the endorphins and stuff. It just kind of like makes the pain go away at a certain point, and you kind of drift away. Like that's what I felt like. Is I felt like I felt out of my body in that experience. Um, so I'm telling you this story because the gifts are real. The experiences that we've had in past lives that create trauma and lasting impressions of, if you step out of line, you're going to be punished in the worst way possible. Like that kind of thing stuck with her. Not everybody remembers their past lives. I can see lots of past lives, especially the ones that have trauma attached to them, because it's unresolved energy. And the unresolved energy is what shows up the most blaringly obvious, because that's what needs to be cleaned up. That's what needs to be cleared and honored and acknowledged in order for it to release. One of my favorite sayings is, if you knew how to let that shit go, you would have done it already. Because none of us wants to hang on to trauma. And so much of our trauma is invisible, it's hidden, it's buried somewhere. I mean, I myself have uncovered an actual buried memory from my childhood, having to do with the time that I was sexually molested by a stranger. And, there are a lot of things attached to that I've uncovered and actually released the energy of in my life. But I can tell you there's a huge difference between knowing that a thing happened and actually healing the energy of attachment that anchors that experience into your belief system, into your energy body, into your light body, and into your emotional body for sure. Yeah, it's the emotions that really anchor those traumatic experiences in, and they can carry with you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Just think about something that you're afraid of, that you've always been afraid of, and you don't have any idea why you've been afraid of that. Some people are just afraid of bridges. Some people are afraid of water. Some people are afraid of, dogs. Um, and sometimes there's no logical explanation for that. I suspect it has to do with past life. I mean, the past life trauma experiences really stick. So, getting that kind of stuff cleaned up, especially when it's around the intuitive sort of persecution and trauma that we have had, in past lives and also in our ancestral DNA, but also the collective consciousness of women is very loud and heavy with that kind of trauma, the trauma of persecution, of oppression, and of you know being stoned to death, being ridiculed, being told you can't know that, you can't see that, you're making that up. What are you, crazy? Um, you know, all those kinds of things have a really deep effect on our ability to express our natural intuitive gifts. And they are natural, they're part of our feminine intuition, our feminine intelligence. And yeah, if you know anything about me, you know my beliefs on that one. It's super important to activate all of our intelligence because that is where all of our creative juices flow and our genius really comes out, and we're able to express all of that to the world. So, if you're having trouble getting clients or stepping off that edge of, working for the man and really wanting to transition into being able to share your gifts and earn a good living with that, um, and ditching all the shame around asking for money and asking for, compensation for your skills, your gifts, and your expertise. Those are things that I can 100% help you with. I have very specific methodology for it that works. And I've helped a lot of women step over into their just like a super successful, incredibly amazing. I have so many fabulous success stories. Um, One of my favorites is, well, actually, I was just helping a woman last night around um, being able to connect with clients in a way that that showcases her value, and getting over that hump um, of really hyper focusing on one thing that she is doing rather than looking at her whole skill set and bringing all of her genius together into a single package instead of like splitting it up into these different things that she does or different things that she's certified in, and bringing that all into one complete package so that her clients aren't just getting a small part of her incredible genius, they're getting all of her incredible genius, and packaging that in such a way that they're like, oh my gosh, I can't live without you. I need your help, and I need it right now. And I'm totally happy to compensate you appropriately for that because, we all need to eat. And if you're going to be doing this work, and it is work, you deserve to be compensated for that. And by the way, men don't have any problem asking for what they're worth. That is very much a lady problem. Very much. And so it's time to step away from that meek, like, can't ask for what I'm worth, question my own worthiness, question my own value. Step away from all of that and step into that incredible goddess light that you bring to the world. It's time for that magic. All right, so there's a link in the description if you want to schedule a free connection call with me. It's 30 minutes of really deep diving into what is getting in your way and how to catapult you into the next chapter of your life so that you're really living in alignment with your incredible soul purpose, with all the love and attracting everything into your life that makes you feel like life is worth living, and more than that, that life is exciting and that you're inspired to wake up every morning and that you get to, yesterday I was feeling a little like, angsty kind of thing. And I had the freedom to go detail the inside of my car. I had the freedom to follow the flow of energy that was happening for me, to pay attention to it, recognize where my energy was going to be best spent, and actually spend it in that way. And the reason that I have that freedom is that this is my life. I've created that for myself, and you can create that for yourself too. I believe in your brilliance, and after working with me, so will you. All right. Love and blessings to you. And hey, don't forget to come to the masterclass that I'm having right here in the group tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Don't forget to come to that because we are going to be deep diving into guides and guidance and messages and which ones are safe, which ones are sketchy, and which ones are straight up scary. So we're going to be diving into all of that, talking about all the different kinds of guides, the different kinds of angels, the different kinds of fairy beings, the different kinds of cosmic beings of light, some of their names, their qualities, what they look like, what kind of energy and help they bring, and how to feel confident in your ability to channel their messages. So alrighty, we're going to do all that tomorrow, 3 o'clock Pacific time, right here. See you right here. Love you very much. Bye now.